Hello and welcome to another Magic 2015 gameplay. Today we're taking a look at another 5-color deck, and it's basically a collection of all my favorite cards in the game, so I'm pretty excited to show you my list. Starting with white, we have Wall of Omens, draws a card, holds the ground in the early game, not more you can ask. Reprisal, only one, but it's our, I think, 5th or 6th spot removal spell in the deck. So it's pretty good, but doesn't hit every creature like Stormbreath Dragon or Brimaz. Baneslayer Angel, best creature in the game, so I'm including it. Planar Cleansing, only one, but triple white is pretty harsh in a 5-color deck, but sometimes you need to get rid of those enchantments or artifacts, and then Planar Cleansing gets the job done. Then Resolute Archangel can save you if you're low on health, and can sometimes surprise the opponent and make you win a race you would otherwise lose. Then we have Think Twice, my favorite card in the game. Draws us cards and pretty much wins games. Then Soul of Ravnica, awesome in a 5-color deck. If you have one of those 5-color creatures out, you can activate this for 7 mana to draw 5, and it's also a 6/6 flyer for 6, which isn't bad. So those are the blue cards. In black we only have Runescar Demon, but it's a pretty good one. This allows us to get those one-offs like Planar Cleansing or Resolute Archangel, or just getting good cards like Baneslayer Angel or some other cards down the line. And also a 6/6 flyer for 7 mana is not a bad deal. Then Anger of the Gods is a much needed sweeper for the early game, because the deck is pretty weak to aggressive decks, so Anger of the Gods is really helpful there. Then Stormbreath Dragon, best red creature besides Inferno Titan, so running both of those. Inferno Titan also sort of acts like a removal spell. Then the two cards that hold the deck together are Cultivate, and then we also have Darkseal Ingot. These are both 3 mana ramp cards. Then the Darkseal Ingot also doesn't die to Planar Cleansing, which is nice. And they basically allow you to go from 3 mana all the way up to 5. So that's why you see this void at the 4-drop slot, is because we're not really counting on playing a 4-drop thanks to these ramp spells. And as you'll see later, most of our lands come into play tapped, so our curve is sometimes a little weird. So it's alright to have a few holes in here, since you can still play a 3-drop and a tapped land on turn 4 and be fine. Then Obelisk of Alara, another sweet card in a 5-color deck, as you can use all the abilities. Only running one again, because we can search it up with the Runescar Demon if we really need one of these modes. Then we also have Kozilek, because why not? Just throw him in there, since we are ramping with Cultivate and Ingot. It's not impossible to get Kozilek out, and it's a fun card to play with. And we can also cheat it into play with Maelstrom Archangel, another sweet 5-color card, flying, and lets you put cards into play for free. Then we have another 5-color card in Fusion Elemental, just a big 8/8 for 5 mana. You can get him out as early as turn 4 in this deck, so also pretty good. Then to help us out in the early game, we also have a Rox Warmonk or 2 with the lifelink, is pretty useful. And our other spot removal is Ground Assault, which is probably the best removal spell in the game, so running that as well. And then the mana base, we are only running 24 lands, even though our curve is pretty high, but we do have those 7 ramp spells, so that sort of helps out. We need to run a couple of basics to have a couple of targets for Cultivate, mostly green and white, also red for Anger of the Gods. And then all the tricolor lands we can fit in a deck, which is all of them. No Guild Gates, so we're not running any Ceruli Gatekeepers or anything, so the tri-lands are fine. So yeah, that's the deck, and now let's jump into a game. Alright, let's take a look at our opener here. 2 Angers, no double red, and a 6 and a 7-drop is not gonna cut it. We do want to see one of those ramp spells if we can. And there's a Darkseal Ingot, so I'm gonna keep this. This is a fine hand. Don't have double red for anger, so that could be a problem. But we do have one source in Darkseal Ingot, and here's an unusual card in Pyxis of Pandemonium. So that's gonna explode in a while. Alright, let's lead with our tap land. It's sort of weird to see that many basics in our opener. Usually we have a lot more tri-lands. And you also want to avoid playing two of the same basics, because that means it becomes pretty impossible to play one of these 5-color cards unless you've got a Darkseal Ingot. So here we can play another tap land, and we have another red source, so we can play Anger if we need to. And we're well on track to play this on turn 4, which is nice. Opponent, I'm still not sure what he's up to. This could be a problem. Alright, Wayfinder will probably show a bit of his deck. And let's see. Alright, looks like a graveyard based deck to me. Plaka Worm, Treasure Find, Junt Colors. Alright, now we can play a basic, so we can run out our Darkseal Ingot. Next turn we can play a Plains and then run out the Elemental. And the turn after we can probably just play another basic and run out the Obelisk as well. The Elemental, while very big, usually has some trouble dealing with a lot of tokens or these small creatures that just stay on the battlefield, like the Wayfinder. But he's usually the biggest card on the field for quite a while. Another Wayfinder. Alright, so we've got a Brew there, 4 colors at least. No need to use Anger of the Gods for these two 1/1s. We'll get better targets, like a Sprouting Thrinax would be awesome to anger away, since it will be exiled. Alright, I think we'll go with the Plains in case we need to Planar Cleansing at some point, and run out the Elemental. And let's see if our opponent has an answer. Edicts are an easy way out now for our opponent. Cards like Ground Assault, while it's a great card, is not gonna kill the Elemental right now, but I guess Shadowborn Demon is, so that's sort of a problem. But we've got more good creatures in our deck, so I'm not too worried. Now we could actually Anger of the Gods away the tokens at the Satyrs, so our opponent has to sacrifice his own demon. Planar Cleansing is also not bad, I guess. Would get rid of the Pyxis. And we can actually cast it right now. I don't hate it. We still have this Obelisk to play next turn, and then an Anger of the Gods to clean up. Although I am curious if we should wait a turn to cast this Planar Cleansing in case our opponent overextends a bit. Does mean we'll take 6 damage, but I guess I'm okay with it. This is far from exploding, so I guess we can just sit back and play a tap land, since we don't want to run out the Obelisk before casting Planar Cleansing. So this might be a bad move, but I guess we'll find out what our opponent does here. I don't think he will expect a Planar Cleansing, since we only have this one basic, although we do have triple white on the battlefield already. So we're just hoping for another permanent to hit the board. And let's see if that happens. Cultivate, not what we wanted to see here. I guess we can always... yeah, no. We could give the Satyr -2/-2, but we can't do it next turn. So that was an unfortunate turn for us. Let's see. We could just cast Anger of the Gods here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, our opponent could actually activate the Pixies of Pandemonium now. The thing is, I think our cards would also be pretty good. Do we want to get rid of the Pixies is a question now. Because I actually believe the things we would get would be better. And if not, we can always Planar Cleansing later. So I guess we could just Anger of the Gods away the Satyr, so our opponent has to sacrifice a demon, since he doesn't have enough creatures in the yard. And he can't do this on upkeep, because there's no upkeep in this game. So yeah, I think we'll go with the Anger. Let the opponent activate the Pixies if he wants to. And otherwise we can still Planar Cleansing in the future. I'm just curious to see what we get from the Pixies if our opponent does go for it. He doesn't, he plays a Warstorm Surge instead. And that we will have to get rid of, because if our opponent goes for this next turn with the Warstorm Surge in play, it's very likely that we just die on the spot. So I think now is the perfect time for a Planar Cleansing. We don't have, let's see, we can actually play another Darksteel Ingot, because then we would have, yep, we can play an Ingot, play another land. It doesn't have to be Plains, but I guess we'll play a Plains, and then Planar Cleansing away the enchantment and the artifact. Opponent has 3 cards left in hand, so the game's far from over. Too bad we can't see what's exiled here. Another Wayfinder. So this Obelisk of Alara is gonna have to do a lot of work to get us back in the game. Maybe find us a Think Twice, that would be pretty awesome. Or we could just draw one, I guess. Let's see, how much mana are we working with? 9 mana, 10 mana, so we can play Think Twice, cast the Obelisk and also activate it. Seems fine to me. And I guess we can also keep up the Think Twice to represent another instant. So we can choose what to do with the Obelisk. On our opponent's turn, likely just killing the Satyr. Could also start gaining life or going for the opponent's face. I don't think we will draw and discard. I don't mind getting hit for 1 here, we can still gain 5. Alright, opponent goes to unstep, let's cast Think Twice. So if we do draw land, we can use the blue ability. Another Think Twice. I guess it's better to just kill this then. Alright, Archangel. Not bad. We do perhaps have to worry about an opponent's Planar Cleansing, because he does have the triple white for that. So I don't want to overextend here, but I think playing an Archangel is fine here. And then we have 2 Think Twices available, or an activation of the Obelisk. Let's see, for opponents has a Ground Assault for the Angel. We can give it +4, but that's not going to be enough. Yep, well, I predicted it. So it's 2 lands there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's not enough. So, is there a way to save it if we cast Think Twice? I don't believe so. So, let's just let it die. Opponent goes to end step. I guess we'll play a Think Twice first. Or actually, should have flashed back a Think Twice. Oh, convenient. And let's gain some life then. I think we can cast this Kozilek. So I should have flashed back the Think Twice rather than just casting one, but I think Kozilek is gonna make it alright. And let's hope he stays on the battlefield for a turn. And let's play a tapped land. Alright, so your move, I guess. Oh, come on. And that's like exactly 12. So had we been less greedy, we could have waited another turn so we had the obelisk activation to give it +4/+4. But our opponent already played 2 ground assaults, so I wasn't really expecting a third one. But I guess we'll have to live with that. And now Kozilek also shuffled away our Think Twices in the graveyard. That's unfortunate. Oh well, let's rebuild. I believe we can still get there. Let's see what we draw. I don't really want to play this Archangel when we're at 15. So let's just cast a bunch of walls here. Huh, that's funny. Yeah, let's just go for another wall and then we can keep an activation up. Hey, he's back. Great. So let's just pass the turn here. And we still have this obelisk that we can use to draw and discard. And let's discard. I think we don't need the land. Actually, I think this anger is gonna be less useful. Hey, alright, so I think we now have enough mana to cast our Kozilek and have protection up. God, this is pretty disgusting. So yeah, if you're wondering what a fun deck looks like, this is pretty much it. We even have to discard here. Don't think we have a lot of basics left, so we can discard Cultivate. So I think our end game is pretty well set here. We can reprisal that one. Huh, it's pretty funny that it killed our walls. Yep. Let's reprisal that. Alright, let's start with an attack. See if it works. Annihilator goes on the stack. Opponent has to sack 4 lands. Now the question is, what do we have to cast here? So many good cards. Guess we'll go with Inferno Titan. Put the opponent out of his misery. And say go. Still don't want to overextend into a possible planar cleansing, because that would be a little silly. So we can just use the obelisk to finish off the opponent, or we can attack with a Kozilek, which does sound more fun. Oh well. We're playing a little sloppy now. Attack. Creatures. Players. Let's share the pain. Opponent making decisions. Taking a look at his mana base, seeing what colors he wants to keep. Let's take a look at the opponent's yard. Wow, there's a Gristlebrand in there. Oh, could have actually been a problem, but I guess we got there. So I wanna thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay, and as always, have a nice day.